Think you're welcome everywhere with your American passport? Think again. In this video, we dive into the top countries where Americans might just find the unwelcome mat instead of the red carpet. Ever wondered which destinations are less than thrilled to host US travelers and why? Stick around as we explore the intriguing reasons behind these chilly receptions and uncover some surprising spots you might want to cross off your travel list. Welcome to We Explore, your passport to the world's wonders. Let's start with number 10, Myanmar. Home to nearly 55 million people, which is not very welcoming to Americans due to historical and recent turmoil. Since the military coup in February 2021, the nation has faced continuous unrest and conflict. The US advises against travel to Myanmar, citing arbitrary law enforcement and scarce healthcare resources. Americans face a complex visa process, and US sanctions further dampen the reception for American visitors. Essentially, even after navigating the visa maze, travelers are advised to stay away, underscoring the strained relations and challenging conditions. Number 9. Now let's hop over to Yemen. With around 30 million people, Yemen is not welcoming to Americans, particularly due to ongoing conflicts since 2015 and a significant humanitarian crisis. The US issues strong warnings against travel here, citing civil unrest, terrorism, kidnapping, and armed conflict. The Do Not Travel advisory is explicit, and the challenging visa process, combined with national instability, makes tourism almost impossible. Even if Americans manage to enter, the hostility due to perceived US involvement in conflicts and drone strikes makes Yemen a far from ideal destination. Number 8. Next up is Somalia, with a population of about 15 million. Here's where things get dicey for Americans. The frosty reception can be traced back to various factors, including political instability and security concerns. In May 2022, President Joe Biden approved the redeployment of US soldiers to combat the Al-Shabaab insurgents. While strategic from a defense standpoint, this doesn't make American tourists popular. The visa process is stringent, like trying to thread a needle while riding a roller coaster, possible but challenging. Hostilities range from bureaucratic red tape to outright security risks. It's a tough scene, especially considering the humanitarian crisis there, with millions displaced and struggling for food. Not exactly a warm welcome backdrop. Number 7. Venezuela, with over 28 million residents, has tense relations with the US due to economic sanctions and political disputes. The challenging environment has forced 7.7 million people to emigrate, highlighting the severe economic issues. For Americans, the visa process is complex, reflecting deep-seated skepticism towards US citizens. Inside Venezuela, the high cost of living and underlying tensions make even simple interactions stressful. Despite about 23,000 Americans living mainly in Caracas, there's a pervasive feeling of unwelcome due to the nation's political and economic strife. Number 6. Libya, a country that's been through more plot twists than a season of Game of Thrones, has about 7 million people as of 2024. Why isn't an American passport the golden ticket here? It's a mix of factors. The US Department of State has a do not travel advisory due to dangers like crime, terrorism, civil unrest, kidnapping, and armed conflict. The relationship between the US and Libya has been a roller coaster, especially after the 2012 attack on the US mission to Benghazi. This event was a turning point, leading to heightened security concerns and making Libya tough for American travelers. The visa process is super tough, with stringent requirements and restrictions, adding another layer of complexity. Can you guess which country might be even more unwelcoming to American visitors than Libya? Stay tuned as we reveal number 5, where the situation intensifies even further. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our fascinating insights into these less trodden paths. Now on to number 5. Syria, a country with a rich culture and history, has been overshadowed by conflict. With a population grappling with civil war, Syria is another spot where Americans might find the welcome mat rolled up. The reasons are similar to Libya, but with increased intensity. The US has a Level 4 advisory on Syria, citing risks of terrorism, civil unrest, kidnapping, and armed conflict. The Syrian government stance towards Americans is hostile due to a complicated geopolitical game involving sanctions, military actions, and diplomatic standoffs. The visa process is like finding a needle in a haystack. If you manage to get in, the environment can be unwelcoming due to the ongoing conflict and general suspicion towards foreigners, particularly Americans, because of the US's involvement in regional politics. Number 4. Afghanistan, with a population of 38 million, is a hotspot of geopolitical tension and not very welcoming to Americans. The U.S. State Department advises against travel due to terrorism, wrongful detention, kidnapping, and crime, essentially signaling a strong "please don't visit" to U.S. citizens. This warning reflects the real dangers, as various terrorist groups actively target Americans. The visa process is stringent, and arriving without the proper documentation can lead to deportation and passport confiscation, further emphasizing the risks and challenges of visiting Afghanistan. Number 3. Iraq, with about 40 million people, has had a tumultuous relationship with the US. It all started with the 2003 US-led invasion. Since then, the narrative has been complicated. Why aren't Americans welcome? First, the visa process is like solving a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. Americans can get visas at airports, but getting an exit stamp can be tricky. The application is a marathon, normally taking around 12 working days and requiring a valid passport. It's less welcome to Iraq and more prove why we should let you in. But it's not just the paperwork. The security situation is precarious, with reports of government officials employing torture and other inhumane treatments. It's a reminder that the country is still grappling with stability. Number 2. Iran, home to 83 million people, boasts ancient history and stunning landscapes but has complex ties with the US. Tensions have persisted since the 1979 hostage crisis, and today the US warns Americans with a Level 4 travel advisory, citing risks of terrorism, unrest, and arbitrary detention. The visa process is arduous, often taking 1 to 3 months for approval. Once in Iran, remember that international cards like Visa or MasterCard won't work, so cash is essential. Despite these challenges, Iran captivates with its vibrant markets and the ruins of Persepolis. Yet, as an American, you must navigate carefully as welcoming locals contrast with the nation's intricate political landscape. Number 1. North Korea, officially the Democratic People's Republic of Korea or DPRK, is home to about 25 million people. This nation is like a reclusive neighbor who watches from a distance but never joins community events. US-North Korea relations have been fraught with political tensions, nuclear threats, and an unresolved war since a 1953 armistice. The US government warns against travel to North Korea due to high risks of arrest and long-term detention. The case of Otto Warmbier, an American student who died after being detained in North Korea, underscores these dangers. Since September 1, 2017, the US has banned citizens from using their passports to enter North Korea, except under special conditions, essentially placing a "Do Not Enter" sign on the country for American tourists. Before this ban, obtaining a visa required dealing with a specialized travel agency and adhering to a strictly controlled tour, always under watchful supervision. In North Korea, the rules are stringent. You can't talk to locals without permission, and joking about the government could lead to serious trouble. This level of control is bewildering for many Americans used to freedom of speech and movement. Visiting North Korea is like navigating a minefield blindfolded. One misstep could have severe consequences. Despite the allure of the forbidden, the risks are high. In North Korea, there might not be a second chance. As we've seen, not every country rolls out the red carpet for American travelers, and understanding these complex dynamics is key to being a well-informed global citizen. What are your thoughts on these travel advisories, And would you risk visiting any of these countries? Don't forget to share your views in the comments, give this video a thumbs up if you found it insightful, and subscribe to our channel for more intriguing travel content and updates. See you in the next video.